You're watching an episode of Spirits People Live with Johnny Michelson.
There we go, there we go. Happy Spirits Tuesday. Let's see what happens. Going live. Oh, Whiskey Sorensen. First to the mill. Jonathan Laney got here. What's going on, buddies? Dragvent. And Rum Diaries. The man himself. Excellent. Awesome. We're in good company. Thanks for coming in and looking at myself and Steven drinking. Because there's no better way to spend your time. Alright, so. Alright. Daniel, what's going on, man? Long time no see. Oh, we got Claire here. What's going on, Claire? Let's see if we can get Steven added to this. Fun begin. I have to pour myself this. Waiting for Rum Diaries. Oh, there he is.
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on, man?
Yeah, it's all good, yeah?
Yeah, not too bad. Oh, you got beard trim.
Yeah, I was starting to look like a tramp. So I needed to match the hair trim, so...
Nice. Yeah, I know the feeling. I have to tidy up every now and then.
Yeah, just a touch.
So I only have this much left, and I don't think it's going to last longer than tonight. Ooh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This stuff is excellent. So I'm going to pour two, and I'm going to pour quite a lot of water in one.
Right, okay.
Just because it's Spirits Tuesday. I have to have two drinks, else it's not really Spirits Tuesday.
Right, okay.
All right, the big one goes to me. The second one goes to the water. How have you been, man?
Yeah, all good.
Anything new under the sky in your life?
Not really. Just got through the first 12 months on the new job. So
right.
Yeah, that passed without incident. That's all good.
That's pretty good.
Oh, look at you putting your new qualification skills to good use.
Yes. I'll be following. I have my new religion.
Right.
So I'll see how that goes.
I was expecting to see you with a blindfold on or something.
I can go and get a sleeping mask.
Yeah.
It'll be an interesting show. All right, we got Whiskey Novice in the house as well. He's also doing some live streams, so go and check those out. He's speaking of blind, he was doing a blind yesterday, which was really cool, and he'll be doing more of those. So you check that out.
Cool.
And of course, I have an old fashioned.
So that's Spirits 3's day for you, then, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, I didn't really think this through. Well, cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Thanks for joining. So it's actually not a rum old fashioned. I was thinking about it, but I don't really have any rums that would be on par with the Tiger Shark. So I did a Weller 12.
Right.
Old fashioned, which is quite mild. So it's not gonna tamper with this.
Yeah, it's a nice rum, isn't it?
Oh my gosh! So I was so you and I were chatting the other day, and you were saying that Luca is not really giving much away.
No, the problem for me is I think I'd seen a comment where someone had said that they thought it had Hamden in there, But when you look at the age of some of the Hamden stuff, and you're probably only getting up to maximum like 7 or 8 years old, aged in situ at Hamden. Now it wouldn't be that, because that would bring the age right down. Yeah. And also it's a blend of I think it's 3 marks from 2 locations.
Yep.
I tried with Luca to try and pry some information out of him, because initially my initial thoughts were, at first visit, well, we'll save it for the tasting in a bit, but I knew what I thought were my 3 in terms of locations, well, in terms of marks from the locations, but it's all pot at the end of the day, which does kind of narrow you down in terms of locations. It's all pot and it's all tropically aged, so
like the whole label just shines quality. I mean, like, no sugar, imperial proof, although it's not actually imperial proof, is it? It's a little bit off. Yeah,
because I think it's somewhat 57.4 or something. Is that imperial proof? I'm not sure.
Oh, it's 15. It says 18 on the bottle. So 57.15 is imperial proof.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think I've seen a few.
Wikipedia.
I've seen a few things recently where it's amazing the way that the market's changed now. People seem to question the wrong things. It's like, you'll see bottles like Don Papa, and it says rum on the bottle. People are not questioning it when they're seeing that bottle, or any myriad of other nonsense that is on the shelf marked up as what it shouldn't be. Yeah. When this was released, I saw that it said weighted average age 14 years, and someone was moaning that they didn't give the age of all the rums in the blend. Like, he's giving you an average end. You'd accept the word Solera on a bottle, yet he's giving you an average age.
Yeah.
A 23 Solera isn't, an average of 23 years old. It's probably an average of 6 or 7 years old. He's giving you the average, and someone's moaning. It's like on the Hamden bottles, where it said on one side of the label it said aging for 7 years in the tropics is the equivalent of 25 years worth of European climate.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the label, on the first issue, it was 8 years old. So 8 is the equivalent of 25, and everyone's like, "Well, what's going on? Is it 7 or is it 8?" And it's like, well, chill, it doesn't matter. Assume the lowest number, you still won't be disappointed.
Yeah. Oh my
God. It's crazy.
Just drink it, man. Just drink the good stuff.
It's the amount of stuff that slides and gets accepted. Like, like the terms like Solera or EXO or big misleading numbers. You get a bit of proper information on the bottle, and everyone's up in arms.
Yeah. Yeah, EXO is an interesting one. It's like, where did you get that from? Just come up with something new. Just like, just slap it on.
It could be triple XO next. But what I'll do when I send them Hobe stuff through to you, I'll drop you some Zacapa XO in there as well. Throw away your maple syrup. You do not need it anymore.
Yeah, I'll use it to make old fashions.
Yeah, I'd say you clean the drains with it, but it'll clog them up.
Oh my gosh,
it's horrific.
Oh man. So I was trying to, and I couldn't really, maybe I don't know what to look for, because I know Velier does they do a lot of spirits, they do a lot of rum, but I know that they have these kind of special releases. Like, I couldn't figure out how many they've done.
Right.
I don't know if you have an idea. Is it like quite few, or is it quite a lot?
Is that in terms of the 70th anniversary?
No, just kind of like, because they do. What's the other ones? I'm trying to think, or maybe I'm mixing up. Maybe that's why I can't find anything. Like the Triptych and all those other ones, Destino.
Yeah, they're all classed as 4 square bottles. They're all 4 square bottles, but distributed by Velier.
I see.
They're not that. Yeah, they wouldn't be classed as for me Velier releases, or I've been told, and Richard definitely wouldn't want them classed as Velier releases. They're distributed by Velier, and it's kind of like a partnership bottling, or they're essentially handling distribution in Europe and everywhere. But they're very much a 4 square product.
All right.
Yeah, but they released a hell of a lot of things for the 70th anniversary, a few of which I picked up. But they just kept coming, and that was all spirits under the sun. So there was a lot of the Capavia distillates, which is like from the rhum still in Marigoland, and then you've got you had a lot of whiskies. I think it was is it Chichibu, I think, or something like that. I've probably pronounced that entirely incorrectly. There were a load of releases of that kind of are commanding ridiculous amounts of money. But I think all told, I managed to pick up the Destino 70th. I picked up a Bali Agricole. I managed to get my hands on the Rum Capavia release, which I paid a modest fee for that, and I think a bottle went in the whiskey auctioneer rum auction yesterday. I think a bottle of that went for probably in excess of 250, 300 quid.
Jesus.
So prices are creeping up.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, rum is poking in there. I mean, like whiskey auctions have been like crazy for a while. I guess like everything like Velier and Foursquare and Coroni for that matter, like all of those are like auction brands now, right?
Yeah, they're what you see a large bulk of. That and a lot of the older Euro-aged Hamdens and that kind of thing. But I often look at some of the bottles that are sitting open on my shelf and think to myself, how much would that be worth now if I hadn't opened it? But if I hadn't opened it, I wouldn't have tasted it, wouldn't have the experience.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
it's for drinking, man. It's for drinking. Yeah.
Definitely. Keep telling myself that.
Yeah, so do you want to get into it?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I haven't actually had this since, and I got the sample from Lee Provost, known as the Thirsty Belgian on Instagram. I'm not sure if he's here, but if he is, thank you very much. So he opened the bottle at a barbecue, and we had some of this after some red meat, and I was like, what the fuck? This is mad. This is so good. So yeah, we'll see if it's still living up to that, and so far so good. Ah, caramba.
It's a hell of a lot of depth to it, isn't there?
God, it's like, yeah, it's like heavy. It's like it's so deep. It's like lots of molasses on there, like burnt sugar.
So the ones that stick out for me are, and why I'm adamant that it's at least one mark or maybe two marks from Worthy Park. Maybe the same one that was in the 2005 release, which has got, I think, I'm not sure if that listed the ester level on there, but it was up there. But this is kind of, initially you get that kind of really overly stewed breakfast tea note.
Oh yeah.
And that started for me as a classic signature of Worthy Park.
Yeah,
it's in every one of their rums to a certain extent.
Nice.
But yeah, a little bit of astringency. It's quite fruity. A bit. I mean, Worthy Park aren't known for kind of like elevated ethyl acetate levels in there. That's more Hamden's kind of like that bright acidic fruit note.
Yeah.
And some of their, especially the WPM mark, which is kind of their medium ester mark, which is the 2006, I think, under the Habitation Belliers, it does kind of bring forward that kind of almost acetone note. And it's there in the background, and it is quite estery, quite fruity.
Yeah.
And a touch of banana, which again for me is Worthy Park. But what you get coming through and really firing its way through, almost punching its way through, is some proper well-integrated wood in there. Yeah. And but it's not aggressive, it's not jumping out, it's not dominant, it's just kind of, it's like a jacket around everything else that's in the glass.
Yeah, it's a beautiful balance on all of the aromas. I was gonna say like the char, you get the char kind of blended in with like the vanillins from the wood. It's Yeah, the nose is like, it's so complex and it's so balanced at the same time. It's beautiful.
I mean, you get kind of, there's almost and I only picked it up whilst I was sipping the rum, but maybe it's this glass. It's but you get kind of almost a perfumed floral kind of note to it, a real kind of like light top note.
Yeah, it is a little fragrant. I think I think though it's for me it's a little bit more on the acetone side of things, like a furniture polish.
Yeah, it's quite estery, definitely.
Yeah, there's like some light pineapple, maybe a little bit of coconut. Like coconut could also come from the wood.
Yeah, I mean that's what we began with the ethyl acetate and the raised levels of that, and also like you say that pineapple is kind of a classic of a high ester rum or medium ester anyway.
Yeah,
it's good though, isn't it? You could just sit there.
You can just nose it out. I can just stand here all night and just nose this. It's so beautiful, and it's super thick as well. Like just the texture in the glass, it's absolutely beautiful.
I mean, I was trying to guess the marks with Luca.
Yeah,
and I don't know. Maybe he would tell me if I asked. I'm not sure, but my problem would be is he would expect me to not reveal the information, and I'm like, oh, don't give me that information.
Yeah, don't tell me.
With great power comes great responsibility, doesn't it? So I don't think I do, but I think my initial thought was that it was kind of a medium ester Worthy Park, or even sitting closer to a slightly higher ester Worthy Park.
Okay.
Maybe that would be the WPE or WPM mark. Maybe sitting with, initially my thoughts were the Versailles single wooden pot still from Guyana. And my other thought was, alongside that, maybe Port Morant, because I think a key driver and a key element of Navy rum historically has been rum from the double wooden pot still, the Port Morant still.
Okay.
But a classic note of that is anise, quite heavy anise, and I don't think it's not there to a massive extent for me. So
I was thinking there was a little bit of not anise, but like fennel.
Yeah.
But like just there's like little hints.
But yeah, my initial thoughts were Port Morant, Versailles, and a high ester Worthy Park.
Okay.
Well, I suggested those to Luca, and he said, close but no. So then I have to think to myself, which one of them changes? Yeah, so I'll just go with Guyana and Worthy Park. We'll be fine. BDL and Worthy Park.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Is it causing you sleepless nights?
It's causing me to sit and think. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a weird one. I do enjoy tropically aged stuff from Guyana, but a lot of the continental age stuff, a lot of the stuff that's at Main Rum in Liverpool, I don't get on with it that much, to be brutally honest. I don't think it. I'd say there's probably more hit and miss when you get a Hamden and it's Euro aged. It's all we've been used to for a while, and they're never going to be a bad rum if you're aging Foursquare or a Hamden or a Worthy Park in another location. The distillates are generally completely sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely got a lot of punch.
Nice. So speaking of Worthy Park and Jamaica, we got Gossie Bads in the house. So he is a connoisseur of Jamaica. So he's a brand ambassador for the culinary arts of Jamaica. What's going on, Gossie? My general. Ay. All right. I don't know if you've had a sip yet, but I'm going in. Oh gosh.
Let's say it's that initial sip and the way that it kind of dominates your mouth.
Mm.
That's the thing that still makes me think there's Port Morant in it.
Okay.
It's got the edge, or that kind of, just the body to the rum. It's just a massive thing, isn't it? It's just all encompassing.
I get a lot of anise on the side of my tongue. It's like a licorice, but also like the acetone like really comes through it. This is the first sip, obviously, so it's climatizing.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a big rum, massive.
Yeah.
And for anyone joining and doesn't know what we're drinking the Tiger Shark. Stephen has the bottle there, so the Tiger Shark, absolutely amazing. Imperial proof or around that.
Give or take.
Give or take 0.3.
Yeah. No, I think it's well, I think the nose for me is all about Worthy Park.
Mm.
And it's a really dominant Worthy Park nose. It's kind of, you do get the kind of a lot of stuff with Worthy Park. I kind of liken it to like spice bun. If you've ever had like a traditional kind of Jamaican spice bun, so it's kind of like the spice loaf but without the fruit.
Yeah.
It's that kind of stuff that I find in Worthy Park, and that's present on the nose. But in this, it's more kind of fruitcake mix, kind of raisins, stewed fruits, maybe some stewed plums, Christmas cake, something a little bit syrupy sitting along in there, maybe some dried citrus peel, but there's also kind of almost a citrus oil to it as well.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's kind of, so I'm smelling the one I diluted down, there's a lot of citrus peel, like dried lemon peel.
Yeah.
It's kind of coming through with the water in there.
Mm.
I'll try and give this a go. Oh my gosh. I think some of that dryness is also the age, like the wood.
Yeah.
It's not just the alcohol, it's a mix of, I mean, you can almost taste the wood. Like it's not just the char, but the wood as well. I think the oak is actually coming through as much as the char.
Yeah, kind of a wet wood background to it, isn't there?
Yeah, a little bit. Oh wow, man, it's just good.
I also seem to get kind of, obviously the mid palate really dries out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of you get the anise up front, kind of tingling your cheeks. Then you get kind of like the wash of fruitcake mix, the raisins, the stewed fruit, the Christmas cake. But then kind of as the mid palate really does start to dry out with the oak, one note that I get, and trust me, I find some weird things because, well, I don't know how my mouth works, but like buttery burnt toast kind of note that I seem to get at the back end of the mid palate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit, I get like black peppercorns. Like if you chew on one of those, there's like that bitterness that you get with like a black pepper.
Mm. So it gets a little bit of cocoa maybe at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just, as the glass empties, it does start to get a little bit more perfumed on the nose, but it is a solid rum, isn't it?
Oh my gosh. I would say actually, so after like a few sips now, that anise flavor is becoming almost like a salmiakki. Like it's becoming almost licoricey, like quite a bitter licorice.
Mm. Almost like chewing a licorice root stick.
Yes.
Mm.
Yep. and I've done that.
Yeah, me too. I grew up just chewing random stuff like that.
Oh my God, this is how it's like to be an enthusiast. Like you end up like biting into shit. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Stuff you shouldn't be smelling or tasting.
Yeah. Let's buy some pine oil so that I can start picking up notes of pine in certain rums. And is that menthol? Is that eucalyptus? What am I picking up?
Yeah.
And it's like, hold on, just let me go to the bathroom cupboard and find out. All the silent Vicks Vapor Rub, which one is it?
Oh my gosh.
But I mean, this one.
Have you seen those? The aroma. I think it's called the Aroma Academy.
Yes. Yeah.
Do they have something for rum?
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay. I was considering getting like the different, because they have different sets, like a gin and like a scotch, I think, and a bourbon. I haven't seen the rum one, but I was considering getting all of those just to kind of like, okay, I need to go boot camp here.
Yeah, there's definitely a rum one, because I think it's probably 3 years ago at Rumfest, at the Rum University, Kim Lahiri, who I think at the time worked with Aroma Academy. She was implementing the rum kit. And there were some good things in there. The stuff, it does, quite whether I'd spend my money on the kit or spend my money on the rum. But from an education point of view, I think it is useful to kind of almost if you go into it and you build it all based upon experience, and this reminds me of this reminds me of this, that smells like fudge. It's a case of, it does allow you to kind of almost reprogram the way you think about things by going about that kit, which is why I'm so interested in the WSET course, because I think it will kind of reprogram or get me out of a few bad habits. Yep. Maybe give me a different or a more correct approach to appraising a rum. Because obviously we're drinking it, but we're appraising it at the same time. So I'm just thinking, maybe that would help reset what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that are standouts in rums, and like I say, this for me, that Jamaican component, it's all on the nose.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing that I like about this release as opposed to the first, Coroni is one of those things that I can take or leave. I think it's, when they're good, they're very good. I mean, you get that kind of, it sounds wrong saying it, but you get that kind of petrol, two-stroke oil. It's like you're filling up your little 50cc Honda bog seat to take it across the fields. You get it's like you're filling up your lawnmower. It's like tarry, ropey. Mm-hmm. But then once you can fight your way through that, you get like a beautiful kind of really bright fruit note with some of them, and they can be brilliant things. I mean, time in the barrel really does help it, but I think in the first Royal Navy blend that was too dominant for me. If I'm drinking a Coroni, I would like to drink a Coroni, but I think it was too dominant. Don't get me wrong, it didn't ruin my enjoyment, but I thought it was a little bit too dominant in the original blend, which is why I'm glad it's not in this blend. And for me, this is head and shoulders above the previous blend.
So I haven't tried the previous one, so now I'm intrigued.
Well, I'll drop you a sample through when I eventually get myself to the post office.
That was what I was fishing for there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so, well, for that one, you're going to get an extra large sample of the Zacapa XO.
Nice. So, speaking of the W set, so I think they give you this, I'm not supposed to show this for whatever reason. They're very particular about not sharing anything. It's copyrighted, and like they tell you don't share anything. But anyway, here it is. So it's like a 2-pager kind of cheat sheet, if you will. And like the course, so this was the level 2 that I just took the exam in last week. And what I really find interesting is that they teach you how to kind of smell and like pick up certain things, but not just like what you think you're smelling, but like think about like all the way back to like what's the raw material that went into this. So like rum, sugarcane. Okay, like what are the identifiers? Like, can you pick any of these up? And you start looking for those rather than just like picking up a glass and like start nosing. It's like, oh, caramel, vanilla, orange peel.
Yeah.
So yeah, that could be anything. That could be a bourbon, that could be a rye. So like you're not really like, the point is to describe something in such depth that someone who hasn't tasted it can figure out what it is and can almost imagine what it is. Because like a lot of people like caramel, a lot of people like orange peel, like the idea of like an orange oil, but like you can describe that across like thousands of different bottles.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really cool. And it's like obviously rum was one thing, like it was mezcal and whiskey and bourbon, scotch, tequila, everything. So yeah, it was pretty intense. But I think they're releasing a level 3.
Right, yeah, I think I saw something the other day about it.
Yeah, they're gonna go even more crazy, which is good. I think more on the production side, but also stuff that that I don't know, like, because this course wouldn't cover it, like all the different regions and like the marks, which was not covered in this, but would be probably covered in the next, like a lot more kind of regulations and like stuff like that. So I'm intrigued.
It's definitely something I want to look into. I tried to inquire about any Manchester courses, because obviously it's a little bit easier for me to get to Manchester. It's a day thing as opposed to trying to get myself into some place in London for 9 o'clock, 9:30 in the morning means I have to stay over the day before. Yeah. Then obviously, if I've spent the day doing whatever, then I'm going to want to go out for a drink in the evening. So it turns into like a 2.5-3 day affair. Yeah. So, but Manchester is the case now.
The course is 3 days.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So you can take level 2 is 3 days. The first level 1 is just 1 day, but I think I would say you should probably gun for level 2.
Right. Okay.
I think level 1 is pretty basic, but obviously, I don't know how much you care about mezcal production.
Surprisingly, more than you'd think.
All right, fair enough. So yeah, you would probably be fine jumping in. There's no, you don't have to have any kind of previous experience to go into level 2. Right. I would say if you have 0 experience in anything at all, like level 1 is kind of a must. But level 2, like if you're an enthusiast and you have a good idea of like how things work, at least in one category, like you'd be fine. You would have to study, but yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
It's warming up now as well. It's starting to smell like garden.
Garden.
Yeah, like a summer garden. There's like
cut grass.
There's no. I'm not getting any kind of like agricole things going on. Yeah, just kind of like, I don't know what it is, like just like a really warm kind of 0 wind garden where everything is just kind of dense.
Right. Did they teach you that in your WSET level 2 course?
That's all me.
It smells like garden.
Yeah, there's no definition of garden.
Definitely develops in the glass. I think this one was poured maybe at about 9:15, and so we're now on 10:05, and there's the tiniest drop left, and it really does develop in the glass.
Yeah. The Spirits of the World is saying try the online version of level 2 in spirits.
Ooh. That could be an option, maybe. I'd say I did apply for the Manchester course. It was through, I think, Emporia, who import obviously a lot of spirits, bring Chairman's Reserve to the UK.
Okay.
And I think I was advised that they don't have, or they were advertising the Manchester course, but they had no fixed dates yet.
All right.
So it might just be I need to pursue another avenue. There's a guy called Jamie Stevenson who I know as a photographer, and I've met him at a few kind of spirits events in Manchester. He may run a course over in Salford. He's a nice fella, so it might be worth me looking slightly further afield.
Yeah.
Just to try and get a course up in this direction.
Yeah, I think the online courses are good. I think what you'll probably miss out on is the tasting. Like a lot of the classroom time you spend actually trying the different spirits. The educator or the teacher will kind of take you through the methodology and stuff like that. So yeah, I think online, I mean, if you have, I actually don't know how it works, because you wouldn't have all those kind of benchmark spirits across all categories. Like you would have to have like a good 20 different bottles. Like you would have to have like a Jack Daniel's, some standard bourbon, like a Buffalo Trace. You would have to have like a tequila and a mezcal. Like all
I've got them.
Yeah, no, that became really expensive all of a sudden.
Well, fortunately, I seem to have I've got a few tequilas of the basics, maybe setting from unaged up to añejo. I've got one Joven mezcal. I've got the 40% Buffalo Trace plus an old bottle of the 45 Buffalo Trace.
Nice.
Yeah, the cork's stuck in that bottle. Can't get it out.
Well, you're not desperate enough. You would find a way.
Yeah. And now, so I've got more bourbons and ryes than I suppose a rum drinker maybe should have. I'm absolutely nuts about the Rittenhouse rye, just the 100 proof. That's beautiful stuff.
Good old fashioned maker.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a. I mean, you would find a lot of places that would have that as the well for their rye whiskey. A lot of bars around London would have the Rittenhouse Bottle and Bond.
I think I've got a bottle of the one of the initial releases of the Few rye whiskey.
Yeah, the Few is. So I find the Few rye is a little bit too malty for me. It almost drinks like a scotch.
I always thought that I found that ryes have kind of been more spicy than a bourbon, but drinking that, I would say that that's more of a bourbon to me than a rye. It kind of sits on the sweeter, easier going station where I expected with a rye it would be a nice spicy punch in the face.
Yeah,
but it was a little bit like they were switched around. It's like, I could almost think that they'd mixed the labels up.
Yeah,
they'd bottled the bourbon as rye and they'd bottled the rye as bourbon.
Yeah,
I think that I didn't get the spice that I was expecting, but I'm obviously a novice in the ryes and American whiskies, but.
Well, the label "forgiven" was already taken, so they had to just slap it on.
Yeah.
Ay, caramba. So definitely the water, as well as kind of like mellowed out a little bit. It does kind of highlight a few things for me. It almost brings out. There's almost like some. There's some warmer kind of notes like orange peel and cloves kind of coming out. It kind of it's kind of putting on a little bit of a bourbon show on the nose at least. But that's almost that was almost like 50% water. It's like 50-50 almost.
Right.
But yeah, lots of raisins and like kind of dark fruits. I think the Christmas cake is like definitely shining through with the water in it.
That's the thing when you look at a bottling like this, And you think if the area weighted value is 14 years old, so you're probably talking something, maybe a few years younger and maybe a few years older. And if you're potentially talking about it does have port Morantin potentially, and you're then looking at saying maybe there's a component that's 18, 19 years old in there, and maybe something that's slightly younger. To get an 16, 17, 18-year-old tropically aged port Morant is a pretty magical thing. And to get it in a blend, in a bottle that's going to set you back about €140 is just crazy to think. I think that everyone complains about the rising prices of rum, and we're not getting there in terms of its true market value yet. We're obviously pretty spoiled. And if you think of this is a big rum, it's a proper chewy punch in the face of a rum. There's a lot in the bottle, and it was like when I tried the new Chairman's Reserve 1931 blend. That's kind of like just tipping the balance in favour of pot still. It's maybe about 51% pot still, 49% column, and there are a lot of components in there, and that's like a big chewy rum, and that's what I get from this. This is just it's even more. It's just like an all-encompassing experience, isn't it?
Yeah. It just keeps. Yeah. It feels like there's layers and layers, and like if you let this sit, I'm sure there's more stuff that you can pick out. I mean, like there's not enough notes on the cheat sheet here. Like W set is like it's not ready for this.
Maybe this is in level 3.
It's a whole nother level. It's a level on its own. Category of 1.
But it's a hell of a lot of rum in there.
Yeah.
I hope things like this change people's minds about rum and about what it can be, what it aspires to be, and
So actually, I was reading about the marks, because the marks you have to label things with the youngest, like an age statement with the youngest, and that's a requirement for the marks. But because it's a blend of marks, how does that work?
It's a requirement for certain locations. I think there are plenty of countries that are fluent in bullshit when it comes to numbers that they put on bottles. But places like Barbados, if there's an age statement, it'll be the youngest in the blend. Same with Jamaica, same with Guyana. There are places that make you do that, and you will always gain from that. I think really, Appleton, for instance, you buy their 21-year-old rum. The youngest rum in there is 21 years old. You may get something up to 25. But when you then think about the 12-year-old Appleton, if the youngest rum in that blend is 12 years old, and it could potentially be slightly higher, maybe 13, 14, you can pick that up for 38 quid a bottle. And it's all tropically aged. Yet it's got column in there, and it's your pot column blend. But that is damn good value for a bottle of rum that's going to give you a hell of a lot back. And it's priced at a point where I don't mind chucking it in a Mai Tai, and I'll also just drink it, as it is, straight out the glass or bottle with a straw.
Yeah.
It's always in. I've always got at least 2 bottles in the house.
Yeah.
Because you can't not at 38 quid a bottle.
Yeah, that stuff is fucking brilliant. I think when we were in Jamaica last year, I think we drank probably like 6 bottles between like 4 people in a week.
Right.
Just at the hotel, plus everything else, obviously. But it's like, okay, go to the restaurant, have dinner, go sit out the house, and just like chuck a bottle of Appleton 12. Yeah. So easy. Yeah. I would even because it was hot as fuck, so we put some ice in there as well. So it just slides down.
Yeah. No, it really does. I mean, Friday night at Rumfest, or it turned into Saturday night last year, but there's always a group of us. There's a Lebanese place opposite side of the road to the hotel. And there's maybe a group that starts off with maybe about 5 or 6 and then occasionally grows. I think last year we were probably up to about 12, 13 in there. And we always, there's a small shop next door that we know sells cheap bottles of Appleton Special. So between us, we're putting a couple of those away a night, plus random samples, because obviously we know people like Ross and Ben up in Scotland who make their own rum.
Oh wow!
So they've been bringing things down. Like, what do you think of this? It's 65%,
straight from the barrel.
Yeah, well, pretty well straight from the still. A lot of them are. So, but you get to try a hell of a lot of interesting things. But the Appleton it disappears. I mean, between 6 or 7 of us, we'll put a couple of those away on the Friday at Rumfest after a day's worth of drinking. So it's only for one weekend a year. So.
Oh well. Oh gosh. Yeah, I think it seems like I need to get a little bit more active on the rum club on Facebook.
Yeah.
Get some of that straight from the still. I'm down for that.
Mm.
Oh yeah, it doesn't get any worse.
God, I've just seen Rob Bosman, or as we all know him, 2 dinners, 2 specials, a 15-year-old Jamaican, and a load of samples. Yeah, that was the evening at Rumfest.
Nice.
And then we're all up for breakfast the next morning. Well, obviously, Rob was up for 2 breakfasts, traditional English, and he had his Dutch pancakes.
Oh man, champion. I'll drink to that. Cheers, Rob. Fucking hell.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I put too much water in this. I'll blend them. So now it's like less water. There you go. Making my own blend. I call this the hedgehog shark. Yeah, that's not too shabby.
I just think the reason it's called Tiger Shark is obviously Luca Gargano, but you'll notice on Facebook he's down as Ruruki Gargano. And Ruruki, I think, was the name, the Polynesian name given to him, and it translates as Tiger Shark.
Oh, really?
So it's named after his kind of like given Polynesian name.
Oh, brilliant.
Mm.
That's amazing.
He's very proud about it.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. It's like, where does his name come from? Because that's kind of random.
Yeah, he's so proud of it that he's put his name on the bottle.
Nice.
But to listen to him singing you a traditional song is at first a little bit awkward, but then a thing of beauty. I've only been present for it twice. Yeah, it's great. Passionate fella. You can't help but be engrossed and engaged when he starts speaking. Obviously, it's the Italian in him, the passion that comes out. And yeah, he gives a lot of stories away at 4:30 in the hotel bar of the Four Seasons in London. Oh, you find out some crazy things.
Nice.
And he had an interview that morning I think it was at 7:30 in the hotel lobby, and we sent him to his bed at 4:30.
Oh gosh, what a trooper!
he puts us all to shame. He never stops.
Oh my gosh. Actually, so I remember you and I, we talked about the Gargano classifications. That's a while back now. I don't know if you've read the classifications that the Whiskey Exchange has put out. So they're trying to. It seems like everyone is trying to claim some kind of classification in rum because there's a lack of something and everyone is trying to win. It's like the good old, what was the VHS one over some other format?
Yeah, VHS and Betamax, and just like you had, the mini disc CD, you had HD DVD, Blu-ray.
Yeah. So everyone is gunning for the standard. What's your thoughts on the Whiskey Exchange classification?
I don't mind it, to be honest. I think there are a few things that change. It's things like modernist. We'd maybe call it modern rum. Because the understanding being that it's from maybe a modern form of distillation being multiple columns. So you're talking about more than just like an analyzer and a rectifying column. You're talking multiple columns.
Vodka, like typical vodka.
Yeah. Get in there. But then you'd look at that, and I think there's a difference between maybe a categorization that works on an educational level, basing it on production method, purely production method, as the Gargano classification. Then I think the Whiskey Exchange they've taken that as a basis and maybe tuned it more to a retail environment. I personally don't mind it. I'm glad to see that there's been acknowledgement that colour classification is just utter bollocks. It tells you nothing. I mean, this formed the basis of a random argument that I had on Facebook with someone. Well, I say argument. We call them a free exchange of ideas. Where he was saying, I was saying, what is colour telling you about a rum? And he was saying, well, colour can tell me a lot about a rum. So I thought, no, what is colour telling you about a rum? He's like, well, it's going to take 3 hours for me to explain it to you. So no, it doesn't take 3 hours. It takes one word, nothing. So I said, can you tell me what the colour of Hamden Gold rum tells you? And what the colour of the Lost Spirits Navy style rum, what do they tell you about those rums?
Well, standard Bacardi.
Yeah. Well, the thing was, yeah. But the thing was, there was no response coming with regards to what the colour was telling him. And what I wanted him to say is, well, the colour's telling me that it's aged. But is it, though? Because we know that Hamden Gold is their standard overproof product, watered down to 40% with caramel colour in there. It has no age in it whatsoever, yet it's sold as a gold rum. And then the Lost Spirits stuff, it's about 6 days old. And it's dark, it's almost treacle black. So colour tells you nothing about this. And it's like, well, what if you were to put the certain spirits next to each other? It's like colour tells you nothing. A white rum could be pot and column product from Barbados, unaged, or it could be a 21-day fermented with Dunder product from Hamden Pot Still. Both are white rums, so both are meant to be in the same classification by colour. Yeah, they're total opposite ends of the scale. Yep. One's balanced and the other one is mad. It's a crazy distillate. So colour tells you nothing. And I think there've been rumours or it been coming for a while with the promotion of rum from the Whiskey Exchange, and obviously the rum area at the the Whiskey Show towards the back end of last year that the Whiskey Exchange held. So I've been waiting for the classification to come because they seem to have been like at least the people that have maybe started to take it more seriously. And speaking to Sekinder, he does obviously he loves his spirits, hell of a collection, and he has a lot of respect for rum. And so it's good to see them taking the mantle and moving it forwards. I mean, Spirit Academy in Italy have been using the Gargano classification for a while. Some rums are labelled incorrectly in that classification on their store, but you kind of get the general gist of what they're doing. So to look at it on the Whiskey Exchange, I think it's pretty refreshing. Yeah, I think it's good to I was reading it and I was like, interesting. Like my thoughts were around this is the battle of the classifications. Someone's wants to get in there, but I can appreciate the fact that they're putting some kind of consumer version out there, which I think is pretty good. I mean, obviously the coloring is what the fuck. Yeah, that's the problem though. Is that you look at things that exist already. It's what your original method of getting from point A to point B was you would walk. Then somebody said, "Hey, let's jump on the back of this horse." Yeah. So you went on the horse. Then somebody invented a car. Then somebody invented an aeroplane. Yep. And it's you use what becomes popular and what becomes the norm is what's available. Classification by colour was available. classification by style. So again, you're talking about British style or English style rums, which would put Jamaica and Barbados in the same category, totally different. So that has been used, but it still doesn't tell you anything.
Nope.
So, what I'm hoping is allowing consumers to utilize the colour classification, which they may know and understand. Because if you're not, up to your shoulders in the rum world, you don't care about single blended or, pure single rum. It means nothing to you. But if you look for, heaven forbid, you look for your dark rum and it throws up Dawley's XO because, it's dark in colour.
Yeah.
Then, as well as searching for the rum that you've got, you also maybe have the additional information there telling you what other classification system it belongs to. So if you can utilise your existing knowledge and the classification will inform you where else it sits on that spectrum, then I think it can only be a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe the classification or classification like that in its simplistic form will become the norm.
Yep.
And then we can ditch all the bullshit about colour and regional style.
Amen.
And on that note,
here we go again, Stephen. Like we've been on this, and it's almost an hour.
It's your fault.
It's I blame you as always.
Yeah.
It has to be done. So, weekly giveaway, Spirits Tuesday. What are we going to do? We're going to give one away. All right. So, for an Instagram will probably give me another 3 minutes here. So that's all we have left. So, clear my throat. We have just a short list, which makes it very easy for people to win one of these tote bags. So, Stephen, I'm going to let you pick a random number between 2 and 14.
It will be 14.
I figured. Okay, so I'm going to randomize. And here we have Know Your Whiskey. My good friend from Canada, Josh, the winner of this week's tote bag. Amazing. A little bit of whiskey there at the end. Not too shabby. Josh, I will send you a Spirits People tote bag. Thank you for participating.
Oh, the
look at that.
T-shirt arrived today.
Boom.
Awesome.
Excellent. It made it. Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Sorry for the mix-up, man. Now we have 2.
I have 2 t-shirts. Yeah, I'm fine.
Couple of t-shirts. Oh, Claire is saying she got her bag today. Awesome.
Hey.
That's amazing. Let me know what you think. Well, this was awesome. What a treat. It's always a treat to talk to you, Stephen. You know so much. I feel like I'm being educated here live.
Just enough to get by. That's all that I know.
Nice. So next week, what's going to happen next week? I don't actually know. I'm working on that. We'll see. Maybe it will be me drinking some stuff. I have a couple of. I'm trying to plan a couple of other live sessions with some new folks. They're probably not going to be on Tuesdays, but we'll see what happens.
Cool. Well, you could do a live tasting as a Kappa XO next week if I get to the post office.
If you do get to the post office, I will do a tasting of these bags. So there's your motivation.
Oh, God. I've got to do it now.
It will answer to this.
There's a picture of a dustbin in the bottom right-hand corner. That's the only thing you're going to need.
Yeah, it's like this. Oh, yeah, it's down there. All right, cool. I think we're going to be kicked off now. So I will bid you farewell, and thanks again for joining me, Stephen. It's been awesome. And thanks for joining, everyone. And hopefully I'll see you next Tuesday for another live random session of something. Maybe Zacapa XO. We'll see. All right. Peace out, everyone.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of Spirits People Live. For more videos, check out spiritspeople.com, subscribe on YouTube, and be sure to follow us on Instagram, where we connect you with spirits people worldwide.